That's the souped up car. If you don't master your day, you're never going to have your car. The day is the most important thing you can do, and I think it's extremely hilarious that I'm teaching this class. Because for, 5, 7, 10 years, you know how you get a spiral, and I'm a paper girl, all diehard paper girl. I would have a spiral, and I would take copious amounts of notes, or some notes. And at the end of this seminar, the class, I would write every single time, Heather, structure your day. Heather, get a hold of your day. Heather, fix your time. Over and over and over again for years. Until I actually got a hold of my car. And it's going to look different for everybody. So this class isn't about telling you what to do with your time, because your time is a mixture of your lifestyle and your goals. Your lifestyle is very different than mine. Do you have an African sulcata tortoise? Then we have a different life. That's all there is to that. We have a different life. And we all have different goals. So your time is going to look very different. And so I looked up the definition in the Webster definition of the word master. And there's lots of different definitions, but the one I really liked is said to gain a thorough understanding. So if you want to master your day, you have to understand what your day should hold. Okay, so we're going to deep dive into what do we need to understand. We need to understand your job. That sounds kind of like a duh. I don't think it's a duh. I think my job has changed about 72,000 different times in the last 5 years. Mm-hmm. So it's not like, well, I know what to do, Heather. Do you? No, it's a little confusing. So understand your job, understand your tasks, understand your goals. To earn a Cadillac 5 years ago, 10 years ago, was you could do it with less than 100 people. Good luck. That day is gone. It might come back. But right now, today, that day is not here. So understand your goals. Do you even know what it really takes, or are you still using the same verbiage, the same numbers, the same things that you heard 10 years ago? Because I saw your hands, how many people have been in over 17 years? Yeah. It was the majority of this room, if not all this room. Okay, so things are completely different than when I was a new consultant or when I earned my first Cadillac. Understanding your strengths and weaknesses. You have to understand your strengths because you have them. You have to understand your weaknesses so you can avoid them. You need to understand that your unit and your team changes. I don't want them to. I want to go back to the days where they just ordered lots of product and they didn't talk to me. And everybody's happy. There's a million, and I was busy eating cookies. I miss it. That's not today. I haven't eaten cookies in a while, and ain't nobody happy. So that team is different than the current team that I have, right? They could live in the same body, but they're currently unavailable for present times. You have to understand your needs. That should sound like a duh as well. It's not. You need to understand your financial needs. Those have might have changed. If I go in the grocery store, it costs me $500. Mostly because of that African sulcata tortoise, but that's fine. Your emotional needs have changed. Okay, so that's mastering. You have to have a deep understanding of what's going on. So how much, and I'm going to ask you some questions, and some of this is going to be like slow down to speed up. And that's not my gifting. My gifting is speed up, speed up, speed up, speed up, just speed up faster, and then more faster, and then more faster. But sometimes you got to back it up and really figure out what you're choosing to give your time to. And time, I hope you are, that commodity of time, that you are valuing it very high. And it's not to be wasted. Because everything that you spend 1 second on, you're choosing to spend a second from something else. And that's totally fine. You do you. But are you being intentional about it? Are you understanding what you're giving up? And is it worth it? I need you to know that for you. And the difference is going to be different for every single person. I think that is so cool. Maybe you think that getting an African sulcata tortoise is a waste of time, and I will tell you it is. Also, don't never, ever, ever give somebody an African sulcata tortoise. They live for 200 years. It's not a good gift. I don't think they liked me. I thought they did, but it is a possibility they were mad at me. It's pretty crazy. I want you to put a premium on your time, okay? Because there's always a trade-off. You're always giving up something when you're spending time on something else. Every single time. So we have 3 currencies: knowledge, time, and money. Listen to this. When you need one, you have to use the other 2 to get it. So if you need knowledge, you need time and money to go get knowledge. When you need time, you need knowledge and money to go get more time. That's called delegation. When you need money, you need knowledge and time. It's so cool. So there's always a trade-off in everything. So what I want to do to multiply our impact is I want to clear the pathway to our purpose. I think our purpose and if you're lucky to know your purpose in life right now, I mean, I applaud you. I honestly think my purpose might be to feed the African sulcata tortoise. Because I'm not really sure right now. And that's okay. That's okay. That I don't have a why that makes me tear up every time my feet hit the floor. Because if I'm waiting for it, I'm just wasting my time. And God did not put me on this earth, I do know that, to waste my time, right? So I want to clear the pathway to our purpose. I want to clear the clutter. I feel like it's like an overgrown garden right now. You know it's back there, but it's so buried in a bunch of weeds. And so if we can clear it out, we really can multiply our impact. So this might ruffle some feathers, and I'm totally okay with that. Have you met me? I'm really okay with it. In fact, the more feathers I ruffle, the happier it makes me. Are you ready? Your job description in this room, and it can be different in every other room around you, but in this current room, your job description is in this order. You are to be a business owner first. Do you know the job of a business owner? The job of a business owner is to stay in business.
Right, what you said. That is true.
Job of a business owner is to stay in business. Your job is to keep the doors open. That is your job as a sales director in this room. This is where the feathers are going to come out ruffling. Number 2 job description, after you've kept the doors open, is to be a leader. And I know that you want to put that leader one first, and so do I. But leadership means nothing if the doors are closed and the sign says, out of business. It means nothing. And you have nothing to give if you ain't in business. If you're not doing the work of a business owner. You have nothing to inspire, and you have no one to inspire. Are you guys ready to inspire? And you're like turning around and you're like, wish I had a turtle. Guys, and I feel like we're taking advice from people from 20 years ago that were at a completely different position. And now we're like feeling less than because we can't do what they did. Why don't we just slow down and just keep the doors open? Keeping the doors open is winning. Does anybody like to win? Is that just me? I win every day when my doors are still open.
Thank you.
Welcome. The feathers weren't for everybody. The feather rufflers are quiet, but thank you. The 3rd job description is admin crew. Admin crew, administrative duties. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at an official, like if you Google time management, you're probably going to see a quadrant, the time management matrix. It's everywhere. It's the gold standard of what time management looks like. Well, I tweaked it for director jobs, okay, for mastering our day. And so I'm gonna go through these pretty quickly because they're more of some of these are fixed and some are flexible. And I'm gonna show you the difference between fixed and flexible. And some of them are gonna look different because you have different strengths than I do. I mean, you can't all be the best triple mom in the world. Just can't be. But we all have different things. So your 4 quadrants, do you see my quadrants? It's a box of squares. 4 of them, right? The top, the most coveted square is multiplication. These are duties as a sales director in this room that when you do them in your wheelhouse, you are going to multiply your impact. Sounds pretty great, right? Okay, they are anything that can snowball and build momentum. So for me, when I go out and do a face, if I'm just doing it to check a box, and I have done that, pretty good at checking boxes, I like them. That's different than I go to pre-profile, layer, add friends, get referrals, rebook. Full circle is very different than checking box. So if I'm full circle working a face, she can be in multiplication. But if I am checking the box, she is not. Okay, so that's the difference between like full circle and box checking. Can we snowball and build momentum? Then it belongs in multiplication. So self-leadership and self-coaching. I am so good at those. I talk to myself awesome. I'm also pretty hard on her. I'll let her off the hook very many times. If you don't know how to get yourself to do something, you need to learn. I can manipulate myself better than I can manipulate my husband. And that's pretty good. I can get myself to do just about anything. I sweat out the trash. I got myself to do that. I can now do anything. So self-leadership, self-coaching. And by self-leadership, I mean leading yourself well so you can lead others. Do you see my 4 a.m. gym pics every single morning in my social media? That's self-leadership. And that's tier 2. So there's 4 different tiers of consultants that you can work with. Self-leadership and self-coaching is tier 2. And I'm gonna go back to tell you what these tiers are, but it's important that you know that. The next one in multiplication is building leaders. We all wanna build leaders, and we all wanna empower, we all wanna coach, we wanna get on the phone, and we wanna inspire, and we want them to go do all that work, and they put all the little orders in, and nobody calls you, and start happy. We all want that to happen, right? Okay, that's a multiplication. We want that. That is a goal. That's working tier 3. And then your last thing in your multiplication, it's not the last thing. There are definitely some more multiplication activities, but those are the ones I can think of at the segment. New consultants. One-on-one new consultant. Not a great new consultant email system, but a conversations, those are on the phone, or on Zoom, or on something that have words, just in case you're confused. Conversations with new consultants, that's tier 1. Do you want to know what the tiers are of consultants? I don't know if you've ever heard this before. Ready? Tier 1, the new. Tier 2,
The few.
you. Tier 3, few. Tier 4, oh wait. I don't think I ever heard Mary Kay Ash say anything about tier 4. Who do we typically work with?
The new, the few, and the few.
4. If I asked you who were the last 10 consultants you talked to, were any of them in 1, 2, or 3? Or they've been in your unit for 17 and they're the squeaky wheels, and they're the ones that are currently getting the oil. You're the oil, just in case you didn't know. Okay, so that's multiplication. The goal is to be there, and we're talking about putting our work time into certain quadrants. We want most of our work time to be in multiplication. However, addition is where this room is going to spend most of their time. So the goal is for you to be in addition more than you are right now. Are you ready for what's addition? Training. Preparing for training. Vision, goal setting. Experimentation with new ideas. I put that there for me. I am sort of a butt about new things. Don't love them. Don't love them. I don't love to learn new things. I like you to tell me what I need to do, and then I will do it, and then I will rock at it. But sitting down and learning, not my favorite thing. Looking stupid when I fail at something, not my favorite thing. So experimentation sort of scares me. So if it scares me, it probably scares some of you. I want this in addition because I want you to try new things. I want you to experiment around. I had a director not too long ago tell me, yeah, I've heard about messenger parties, but those are not my thing. So how many have you done? None. That's not experimentation. So try new things. Personal appointments, personal team building, those are in addition. Anything proactive, addition. Anything done in your strengths. And if you are not a Strength Finder Gallup girl, I would love you to be a Gallup Strength Finder girl. Know them, live them, love them, breathe them, stay there. In those top 10, top 12. Meetings and mentoring calls. I'm not even going to say coaching calls. Most of the time you are not coaching. Most of the time you are mentoring, which is great. Just make sure you define it properly. Okay, now the bottom two, subtraction and division, right? I loved algebra, by the way, and I love numbers. So sorry. I have a Disney princess over here that gave you lots of feelings. I was like, Sarah, you're like a Disney princess. Where are the birds? Where are the deer? I was ready. I cannot sing like that while talking. I'm like more Maleficent Ursula. Okay, subtraction. And just, I'm going to list these things off, and I don't want you to cringe. Yes, I do. You might be here because I did a Google survey this last couple of weeks from directors and realized, not shocking, that most directors are spending their time in subtraction. So the things that are in subtraction are necessary, which is where we get caught up, but not by you. Popular activities that are great for others, just not for you at the current moment. Deliveries. I do not deliver my own product. Amen. Every time I take a car and drive out of my driveway to deliver a product, I'm losing money.
Yes, you are.
Now the feathers are ruffled. Recognition. Redundant meetings. No. Unscheduled phone calls. I do not pick up the phone when somebody calls me. Heidi called me, one of my offspring, the other day. I picked up the phone, but she was as shocked as I was. And I was like, what? What's wrong? Like, don't call me. I'm not going to answer. But also don't call me. Like, why are you calling me? It scared me to death. Why are you calling me? I don't pick up the phone. Because if it's not a scheduled phone call, it's going to take me 30 minutes after that is done to refocus. Do you know how hard it is for me to focus the first time? I can't afford that kind of time. 30 minutes every single time you check a notification. That's why I don't have a smartwatch. And I'm smart enough. But there's that. Every time you break concentration, 30 minutes to refocus. So I don't take unscheduled phone calls. Mail outs, prizes, inventory, samples. All subtraction. Division. Emotional guilt. So we're going to get a little bit deeper. Because this is the stuff that, you know, I do yoga. Well, I say I do yoga. I do yoga once a week, but it counts. We do downward dog. And I saw some of it said, sometimes instead of downward facing dog, I do downward spiral dog. I get that. That's in division, downward spirals. I'm not saying I don't have them. I have plenty. I love them sometimes. You need a good little cleanse every once in a while. But you can't live there. Overthinking yourself to inaction. Anything you're doing as an escape. And here's where it's like there's a whole bunch of fixed versus flexible. So you can listen to podcasts, and I'm doing personal development. Yes. But if you do nothing with it, it's an escape. So you took something that could have been a multiplication if you acted on it and you put it in subtraction. because you're using it as an escape. Anything, podcast, reading. Who's my readers out there? See, I don't fall into that trap.
I don't subscribe to that.
I did read a book about cellulite the other day, so it was pretty awesome. My husband was frankly surprised that not about the cellulite, but about that I read the whole book. So, if you're not taking action on it, it's escape. Social media. Okay, listen to this. You can make social media multiplication, addition, subtraction, and division. So people like Rachel is literally the queen of social media. But if you're like, oh, now I'm gonna do all these social media things, you better figure out what quadrant you're gonna be in. Because if you're scrolling, you're in division. If you're creating content that you can use later as resources, amen, Amy, that's multiplication, baby. You know why I do most of the things I do on social media? It's not for you.
It's definitely not.
It's for me to use later on other people. But if I put it there, I can magnify and multiply my impact.
Yeah.
You can also socialize, reacting on social media. Like you go in there and you talk to people. It's good. It's subtraction. Necessary sometimes, but you're going to pay for it. But targeted, proactive communication with people that you want to be in your customer base or recruit, now we're in addition. So you can be anywhere with social media. You just have to make sure you're doing the right thing. Okay, not planning your time intentionally. If you go willy-nilly, if you knew how many times on that director survey people said willy-nilly, I mean, I'm great for a willy-nilly word. I love it. But directors feel like they're willy-nilly. And so if we're not planning our time intentionally, that's going to be in division. Not working on your strengths. Doing it to feel needed. So I'm married to an Enneagram 2. He loves to be needed. And he's high empathy is his number 2 strength finder, which makes him the world's best husband. I mean, the world's best husband. But he's got to be careful that he owns a construction business that's a multi-million-dollar construction business. He's so awesome. But he'll come home and he's like, Coach, and I'm like, yes, sir. What are we doing tonight? And he's like, well, so there's a little bit of this and a little bit of this. Oh, so this kid, management and emotional burnout. We're going to talk about 2 of those a little bit more depth. But I want you to think about this fixed versus flexible idea because it's incredibly cool to me with like guest events. Do you know what guest event? Guest event. I grew up and you do guest events and people come and they buy, they sign up and they leave and they don't call you back and they just order and they're happy.
Yeah.
I like this idea, except that's not exactly the way guest events are. If you have unit guests, you're in multiplication. If you have personal guests, you're in addition. If you have 0 guests, you're in subtraction. If you have no consultants, now you're in downward facing spiral. That's in subtraction. One guest event can be any of those things. So think about those every single time you put something on the schedule. Don't be going willy-nilly with that schedule. Be intentional. Like I cannot honestly put a lot of guest events on my unit calendar right now. You know why? Downward facing spiral. They're not doing that. I have unit members. I just don't know where they are. And I'm certainly not carving out my time to do division with people who don't care at this current moment. When they start caring again, I'll start showing up again. Because we were told that you should. Because that was a different time, now it's this time. And I hope when I come back and teach this class, Michelle, please call me, and let me teach this class, so that in 5 years we can talk about the good old days and they're back. Like I can't wait for the good old days to be back. In that regard, when people showing up and being, there are some of those days I don't want that. I love hybrid, I love virtual, I am in. But I really do like when people answer my text messages. It is more fun that way. Okay, the 2 things I want to dig deeper into are division. because I see a lot of people spending precious minutes in burnout. And burnout is a very, 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 very big deal. And it's not about Mary Kay burnout. It is about the world burnout. It's about entrepreneurs burnout. It's about women burnout. It's about mom burnout. It's about wife burnout. This is a major, serious thing. And there's three things that can cause emotional burnout. The first one is comparison. We all know that one's a thief of joy. But let me give you this example, which I'm pretty proud of, because I think this happens more often and more times than not, is not comparison of apples to apples, right? We always compare apples to oranges. And you're always gonna lose the game, because oranges are clearly superior to apples. Don't put a banana in it, because it wins every single time, okay? So if we're gonna compare things, what if I am a director and I put 30 hours of work into my week, right? That's a lot, that's a nice chunk, especially when so many things are virtual and they don't, 15 minutes versus 3 hours. That's a very big difference. So 30 hours of work in my business this last week, but the majority of it was in subtraction and division. So I was distracted, I mailed out a whole bunch of samples, I delivered product, I created some really cute flyers, I put some meetings on the books that nobody came to, and then I did it again. It's silly like that. And all my time was in the subtraction and division. What's going to happen, which is admin proof. That's your third job. If I spend my time there doing assistant work, guess what I'm gonna feel like?
An assistant.
Guess what I'm gonna get paid like? Guess who I'm gonna compare myself to? Maybe my friend who spent 15 hours of work last week, and then she got a tan because she got to sit by the pool, and then she got to take her kids to wherever kids go. I'm turtle. She had to go anywhere. What if she spent 15 hours a week, but she spent it in multiplication and addition? She's gonna make twice as much money as I did. And now I'm comparing, not my time spent, now I'm comparing my leadership qualities, my ability to communicate effectively, the level of my jokes, my skills, and now my confidence goes spiraling down.
That is good.
Thank you. People with low confidence are comfortable doing subtraction and division work. So if you are comfortable in the subtraction, let's say nobody's comfortable in the division work. If you're comfortable in subtraction work, and when I listed those out, you're like, yeah, but no. No, Heather, you don't know. Yeah, but. Then you're comfortable in subtraction work. And it might be because you have low confidence. Do you know what the most awesome thing about low confidence is?
You can change it.
It's so easily corrected. It's so easily corrected. Do you know what creates confidence?
Activity.
Competence. Competence. Competence creates confidence. You want to get confident on how to be in addition more, see more faces virtually, see more people, make more impact social media? Go get competent at it. Do you know how you get competent at doing something? So I go to the gym early in the morning, and there's a girl, and she's on this glute machine. I have to give you a visual. I know. And she's like doing this whole like lay down thing, and there's like 100 pounds on each side, and there's a belt, a seat belt that goes over your waist. And she's, 12 and she's ripped and like all the things. So I'm already irritated. So I'm like, hey, how do you get to lift that high? Like, I can't even get past 90 pounds because it kills my hip bones and my stomach. And she's like, well, the only way you get better at it is to do it. It was early. I was not feeling that answer. I wasn't feeling that at all. She's incredibly right. And she's incredibly right about everything. The only way to get better at it is to do it. So that's why I said, if you can get yourself to do things, you are going to win. If you can figure out how to manipulate yourself to spend more time in addition than you are in subtraction, you're gonna win. That ain't nobody else's job, it's your job. Thank goodness, because you're really good at your job. You can figure this out. Okay, the next thing about burnout is too many emotions. Now, I am very, very lucky in this region because I only have one feeling, and she's usually not occupied. So I'm winning. But there are other of you that have more than one feeling. You have a lot of feelings. You have your feelings, and then you have everybody who called you because you took their phone call. Because your phone was on, because your notifications are on. And every minute that thing goes off, and it takes you 30 more minutes to focus, AKA you're never focused, AKA willy-nilly, right? This is how willy-nilly gets started. Too many emotions. You're taking on everybody else's feelings, and Michelle, close your ears for a second.
You know I'm good.
I know you're good. Right now, I put the word mediator down, because I was being nice. Do you feel like a mediator between customers and corporate? Consultants, corporate. I mean, they took away my cleansing one.
They did.
For 21 years, twice a day. It's the only cleanser that this face can handle. But they took away cleansing bar. They took away, I mean, nobody cares about cream to powder, but they took that away. That's fine. Oh, you don't care. It's terrible. It's terrible. Oh, now your feathers are getting ruffled and cream to powder? Look. I feel less like a mediator and more like a punching bag. Anybody have to deal with that every day when somebody's mad about something? You know how to stop that?
Stop answering the phone.
You guys think I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. Because they will get over it. Give them about 4 hours and then call them back. They're fine. They're moving on to somebody else. And you have to be a motivator. You're motivating all day long. Problem is, you're motivating tier 4. And the surest way to emotional burnout is motivating the unmotivatable.
Oh my God.
They're not terrible. They don't care, and you're trying so hard to get them to care because I know that if they started caring, they could change their lives. I know it just as much as you do. But today ain't their day. Today ain't their day. You will know, I promise, when somebody is ready. You know why? Because they will burn your house down to talk to you. It's not perfect. They won't stop nagging you to talk to you, to help them get something more. You're not gonna miss them. They will let you know. Until that point, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Okay, the last thing on emotional burnout is lack of clarity. I think Amy talked about clarity. Do you know what you want? I know it's a simple question. It's not that simple. Do you really, 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 really know what you want out of life? Because if you don't know what you want out of life, then how can you use your business as the vehicle to get it? Because that's what Mary Kay, that's what your business is for. Mary Kay is not the destination. It's the vehicle to get what you want. But if you don't know what you want, I feel like you're going to be riding in those little bumper cars. And every time you bump, it spirals you around, and then you turn around, you bump somebody else, and then you bump somebody else. And then all you're doing is this because there's no clear path to what you want. If you're not clear, it leads to massive distractions. But if you're operating, and here's where I said, if you're lucky to know your life's purpose, I am envious. Today's not my day. I hope tomorrow is. I'm gonna give it a go. But I know what my business goal is attached to my personal goal, and that's enough to get my feet to the fire. Because if you don't have the big, awesome, amazing why, you still have a mortgage to pay, am I correct? And so last time Shell Point asked me to give me their money, they did not say, are you feeling good about your purpose? How do you feel about your impact. They don't care. Because their job is to keep the doors open, and my job is to keep the doors open, and corporate's job is to keep their doors open. We all have a job to keep our doors open. So creating the activity that backs up, whether it's that purpose, that calling, or simply that business goal attached to a personal goal. That's what you need. You have to know the daily activities that are attached to it. You have to know how to get what you want. Okay, the last thing I'm going to talk about is distractions. I have 3 quick things about distractions. Here's a question. Am I doing this to escape? To feel needed? To feel good? You need to know that because you have to identify them. Mislabeling your activities is incredibly lethal. It's lethal to your focus. So you can say, well, if you heard Rachel and you're super convicted to be more present on social media, and then you start scrolling social media to get inspiration. That's a distraction that you've mislabeled as personal development. Big difference. So identify your distractions. Are you taking this course to get better, to do something about it, or are you simply escaping in information? Are you listening to this podcast to learn, or are you escaping? I use podcasts to escape. I don't listen to leadership podcasts. I listen to NFL Chiefs podcasts.
Boo.
That is a true story. I know everything. My husband's like, I don't think normal people should know that much about football. And I'm like, yes, they do. When you're the best. What?
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Feathers ruffled.
You can't just learn. You have to implement, or it's a distraction. Label them correctly. Okay, your second one is inserting. This is a big one for me. Inserting my distractions. Now, distractions are good. My dogs are a massive distraction for me. They have been since the day they were born. There's something wrong with Freddie. He ain't right. He ain't never been right. If there's mental illness for dogs, he has all of them. I'm not kidding. If you met him, you would be like, oh my gosh, she's not kidding. Like, God is like, oh, this one's for Heather. Right there is for Heather. There's something wrong with him. My dogs, and they're 15 and 16. I'm at the vet 2 to 3 times a week. We have heart specialists. We have ear specialists. We have teeth specialists. Don't go to a tooth dentist for dogs. $5,000 just walk in the door. Don't go there. Avert. They're massive distractions for me. I can't get rid of them. Unethically. I really thought about that. So what do? I put them into non-energy time or non-work time because I work from home, right? I work for myself, I work from home. So I want to do my vet appointments at 9 a.m. on Monday. Do you know when Heather is the very best? 9 a.m. on Monday. If I give my best to sitting in traffic, to the dentist, doctor, dog person, go to school for that. That's what I'm saying. I have just given my distraction so much power. My workout time. I used to sleep. It was awesome. I don't know what that feels like anymore. The alarm at my house goes off at 3:45 a.m. Because I was sleeping till I wanted to get up. My want to get up is about 6:30. And then I would get ready to the gym, and then I would get there about 7:30. And I would work out for an hour and a half, and I'd get home at 9:30. And then I'd take a shower, and I'd get cute. That takes a while. I would film my social media. Now I'm functional at my desk at 11 a.m. I just gave my peak energy time, because I am absolutely a morning person. I'm like a midday person. Anybody a midday person? I wouldn't say morning necessarily. I'm not that happy. But I've given away hours and hours of my most productive time to something that does not require me to be on. That little butt thrusting machine does not care. I can be grumbly, I can be cranky, my eyes can be half closed. Doesn't matter. So where are you putting your distractions? And it's those 2 things right there, putting them in non-peak time or work time and changing my schedule, I can't eliminate my distractions. I don't want to eliminate my distractions. I want to watch TV. I watch TV. I know every top person says they never watch TV live.
I love it. I love TV. I watch TV all day long if you let me. Love it, love it, love it. Love movies, love everything. Cool. I go to sleep at 8 p.m. I don't do evening work. Somebody said to me, I've never met a top director who doesn't do evening work. You have to fix it, Heather. No, I don't. I just have to rework, reschedule. Anything you want, you can have it. You just gotta tweak it, and you gotta move it around where it goes. Plan, here's your third one. Plan your proactive versus reactive time. This is huge. So I love social media, and I love teaching consultants on social media, which means if you love something, it happens a lot. So as you can imagine, my messenger, it's a time bomb. Everybody's in my messenger. Everybody wanted to DM Heather. None of you people give me money, right? None of them. You guys do not pay me to do any of these things. So I actually have a chunk of my calendar that says clean up messenger. And it's my go give messenger time. That's when I go in there and tell everybody what I put in my sample packs. One more person. I'll put more sample packs. I put samples in my sample packs. I have to allot time for that. Or they'll eat me alive. And it will take all my money-making time, my high-energy time, to copy and paste. And I love it. I'm not giving it up. That's a distraction that I want to keep. But I have to move it into a different pocket of time. And it has to be planned, and that is my reactive. That's my social time. Everybody tells me how much they love me.
Yeah,
I ain't
we
skipping
do.
that. A plata. But it's very strategic on when that happens. Because it got to a point where I couldn't handle it. Like people, then I would feel guilty for people not asking me questions and then me not being able to answer, and then people get fussy. It's a good way to get blocked. Is how that. But anytime things get chaotic, and Stacey James told me this one time, and when Stacey James, who's like a gazelle, I'm like, I don't think she's ever been stressed a day in her life. I heard a class with her a gazillion years ago, and she said, you know, the key is you have to get to chaos. And I was like, do you even know how to spell chaos? Like, you look perfect. You look like everything is perfect and nothing rattles her cage, and she doesn't even have feathers to be ruffled. But she said, get to chaos and then create a system. And it was some of the best advice I ever heard, because I was so afraid to go to chaos. Because I was so afraid I'd be out of control. I was so afraid I couldn't handle it, and then I would look stupid. And I'm an Enneagram 3. We just don't like it. It hurts us if we look stupid. If we feel like we're failing, we're letting people down. So, get to chaos. Create a system. It's okay to do that. So here's my last part to you. My challenge to you guys is just to slow down, to speed up. If you can take just a little bit and do a little time audit and see, you don't have to scrap everything you're doing. If you move two things, I moved my workout time and put prayer and devotional time before I opened up my social media. That changed my life. I thought I was going to quit. It was awful. But I just put my prayer and devotional time at 4 a.m. And then I opened my phone. Changed my whole life. Moved my dogs around. All you need to do is figure out how to get a little bit less in the subtraction and a little bit more in the addition. If you can do that and master your day, you will magnify your impact.